Today I'm reviewing Last Battle for the Sega Genesis / Megadrive. And I've just beat this game today. It took me about 3 days to beat it because it's a tough game. It's one of them games where you've only got one life, and then once you lose that life, doesn't matter how far you get, that's it. There's no continues, you've got to start all over again. I beat this game today for the first time, so I decided to make a review of it. It's not a great game, I give it a 5 out of 10. I'm not a fan of it, not because of the difficulty, because I like loads of hard games. I like Snake Rattle and Roll, I like Battletoads, I like loads of hard games, but I'm not a fan of this game. I mean, because main reason because it has bad controls, where some bosses you got to hit with a punch, and a lot of times it doesn't register and you die because of it. I mean, anyway, it's 4 chapters. I mean, after you beat chapter 1 you go chapter 2 and so on and so on, and it has scenes. Like chapter 1 has a few scenes, like random places to go, and then when you've talked to random characters who open up other areas for you, you then fight some mid bosses, and then you fight the boss of chapter 1 and so on and so on until the end of chapter 4, and then you beat the game, the credits roll, and you see a character on a horse, and then the end shows, and then that's the end of the game. I'm not a fan of the game, like I said, but I do like the music. The music in this game is good. I like the music, and I also like some of the bosses. Like I like the first boss. He looks like Hulk Hogan. He's green, but he looks like Hulk Hogan. I don't know if it is Hulk Hogan, or it's a character they put in the game to look like him, but I think that's the best thing of the game for me, that boss, because it's not a good game. So he's my favourite boss to fight, the Hulk Hogan look-alike boss, or Hulk Hogan if it's himself, whatever. But I don't know, but it's not a great game. But I do like the Hulk Hogan boss. Is easy, but I do like that boss for some reason, and I do like the boss music. Like I said, I like the music. So yeah, give this game a 5 out of 10. It's not great. I've just beat this game. I'll also review the Japanese version down the line. I'm going to buy the Japanese version of this game and play it again, and I beat the game again. I'm told it's the same game, except it's blood in that one, and the blood in this one's been cut out. I'm told it's the same boss, the same music, and the Hulk Hogan look-alike boss is white in that one, so it looks like more Hulk Hogan than it does in this one. So that's the only differences that I'm aware of, but I'll do a review of that once I beat that version down the line. I've just beat this version today for the first time, Last Battle. It's not a great game. It's, like I said, it's 4 chapters long. Random scenes, like in chapter 1, and then go chapter 2, fight random bosses, and then the final boss, like you do in chapter 1 and 3 and 4, and then that's the end of the game, like I just said. I mean, there is one boss that's really tough that I struggle with. He's on the 3rd chapter. It's like you see a waterfall in the background, and he holds a blue towel. That is a boss. I beat that boss. I beat all the bosses, but I'm told you can skip that boss. But I beat that boss. He is hard. For me, he's the hardest boss in the game. He's in chapter 3. He holds a blue towel. He's in a waterfall. Most people I've seen long plays of this game. I've seen a lot of people skip that boss because you can skip him because he's really tough. And for me, he's the hardest boss in the game. But yeah, he's difficult. Even though he's only in chapter 3, he's harder than the final boss for me. But fortunately, you can skip him if you find he's too much to deal with. Because it's a hard game, like I said, you've only got one life, and once you die, don't matter how far you get, it's a game over. I know a lot of people I know who can't beat that boss, they just skip him. But I beat him, because I beat all the bosses in the game, because I'm a completist in games like that. But yeah, he's the hardest boss in the game, even though he's only in chapter 3. And then you just keep going, beat all the bosses, beat all the mid bosses, talk to random people to open other areas up, and you keep doing that to the end of chapter 4, and so on and so on. But yeah, there's that boss, like I just said before, looks like Hulk Hogan, the first boss. I also like another boss who's in chapter 1, who's green coloured, who I think he's the second boss after Hulk Hogan. He's green coloured, he has a bald head, he he's another boss you can skip if you want in Chapter 1, but I'd fight him because he's easy. I mean, as long as you're in your second form. This game's like Altered Beast. In your character can, once you do enough damage to the enemies, your energy meter goes up and you take your shirt off and you're in your best form then. But that boss, the second one, after the Hulk Hogan, who I've just said I like the ball one, in Chapter 1 you've got to be in your second form to beat him because he'll kill you if you don't. If you're in your first form, he'd be too strong for you at that point. So yeah, there's some bosses you can beat in your first form, and some bosses you can only beat in your second form because you'll get killed if you try and fight him in your first form. So you've got to know where you're going really in this game. You've got to make sure you're in your second form to fight certain bosses, because it doesn't matter how much health you have, if you could get killed if you're in your first form because you're not powerful enough. You can beat some bosses in mid bosses with your first form, but a lot you can't. So yeah, as I said, I think the boss at the end of Chapter 3 looks like Freddie Mercury. So the first boss looks like Hulk Hogan in Chapter 1, mid-boss, sorry, and then the final boss in Chapter 3 looks like Freddie Mercury. So yeah, what else can I say about this game? It's not a great game, I wouldn't recommend it. I'd give it a 5 out of 10, I mean, way better games than this. Is worse, of course, but there's better games. So yeah, it's the point you talk to random characters to open other areas, you fight mid-bosses, and then you fight the final boss of each chapter, and just keeps going to the end of Chapter 4, and then that's it, that's the end of the game. The credits roll and you see your character on a horse, and then that's it, it's the end of the game. I beat this game, I'll probably never play it again, it's not a great game. But I'm going to play the Japanese version and beat that. I beat this version, I want to play it again and beat the Japanese version because I want to see the differences. I know if it's empty, what I've said, a few of the characters are white, not green, and there's blood. I want to see if there's any other differences. I don't think there are, but I'll review that later down the line when I beat that version because I don't know anything about the Japanese version yet. Unless it's, the only thing I know is it's called something else. But yeah, this game's not great. Give it 5 out of 10. It's not bad, but it's not great. Better beat 'em ups like Mystical Fighter, Streets of Rage, Golden Axe. Better games to play than this. So yeah, thanks for watching.